Okay, today's a big day. Today's a big topic. Today's a big topic, and it's about EVs. It's about the fucking EVs, and I know that you do not like math. You don't like doing math. And I'm going to do it for you. This is why am I here? I am here to entertain you. I'm here to ask you for money so I can buy an Audi S5 on my Patreon. I'm here to sell you the t-shirt with a stupid raven and north runes on it. And I'm here to fucking do the math for the EVs, okay? Get fucking ready. Get ready! Put down your whatever you're holding. Get ready for this nonsense to unfold before your eyes. By 2035, the assholes in United States, I'm not sure about the United States, California and European Union have decided that by 2035 we're gonna eliminate ICE cars. We're gonna eliminate the internal combustion engine cars, and we're gonna sell only EVs. And let me tell you how dumb this premise is. Okay, I'm just gonna start from the back of the argument. I'm gonna walk you back to why I'm right. Get ready. Put down whatever it is you're doing. Put it down. EVs are more efficient and have less emissions than ICE cars, but only by 20%. That might seem like something, but let me just give you the whole picture to give you an understanding of how stupid this policy is. Get ready. So they're saying, let's say in a perfect world, by 2035, let's say 5 more years, by 2040, we're going to have no ICE cars, which is great. But here's the whole deal. The emissions from transport in the world, the whole world of emissions, the transport causes 10% of emissions. All of the transport, not just cars, by fucking airplanes and the sea lions, sea vessels, whatever you call those things, ships, the whatever you want is causing 10% of overall world pollution. That already doesn't make sense. But you can still go for this argument. By the way, I'm steel manning this argument for like the best of the best, and it's still not gonna work, and you'll see why. Let's say we're significant. Let's say that's significant. We say we want 10% emission, even though that's not just cars. Let's say it's all cars. Let's say 10% of transportation is all cars, which is not true, and we're gonna make it all EV, and we're gonna save the planet by reducing the world emission by 10%. Great, but it's not great. It's fucking awful. Because that's world emission and world transport. And the United States and Europe, where these dumb policies are supposed to be activated by 2035, they make only 35% of all emissions. 35% of world emissions are made by these two places where they want to do EVs. And 10% of those. Do you see what I'm saying? Europe and United States are combined contribute to just 35% of emissions. But just by 35% of emissions are by EU and United States. And from that 35%, only 10% is transportation. So if by 2035 they all have decided that now there's gonna be all EVs, there's gonna be a drop of something like 0.7%, like 0.7 to 3.5% of world emission is going to be eliminated by all of us driving electric cars by 2035 in the United States and in Europe. Do you see how dumb that is? Do you see how much infrastructure that's going to cost? Do you see how much change and investment in technology we're going to make to just reduce the world emission by 1%? Nobody's going to go to China or India or whatever the people who are making stuff, and they care less about whatever you guys care about. They're not going to stop. So this dumb policy to make all electric cars, which is very ambitious and honorable on the surface, is just going to do nothing but leave people without cars and have range anxiety and like not have normal cars but have these computers on wheels. And let me now go deeper and explain why even that's not the case. Why even that's not the case? Because like I said before, EVs are just 20% less efficient. And by the end of this, I'm going to prove to you that if we were to change all of the cars in the United States and Europe to EV cars, there's not going to be no difference. There's going to be no difference to emissions. Zero difference to emissions. And I've brought some math. Normal cars ranging in their energy efficiency from 12 to 30%, okay? Just kind of try to understand that. That's not hard. That's not hard. You put energy in the car. The least efficient gas car takes 12% from that and converts it into energy. And the most efficient, probably like a hybrid, gets 30% of that. Okay? 12 to 30%. ICE cars, energy efficient. Everything else is emission. Good. Now let's see. EVs are actually 80% efficient, which is like almost 3 times that of an average car. EV is 3 times more efficient. But it's still not 100%. So if you put like 100 units of energy into an EV, 80% is converted into actual movement, which is much more efficient. But the caveat is, how fucking stupid do you have to be to not know that 80% of the energy that goes into your fucking EV is still generated from a fucking fossil plant. From a fossil fuel plant, gas, coal, oil, all of that fuels 80% of your EV. And those plants are a little bit more efficient than the ICE car itself. About 40% efficiency. So the ICE car is 12 to 30% efficient. The power plant that powers your EV is 40% efficient. This is what you're doing when you're switching this whole infrastructure, when you're investing billions of dollars into these fucking vanity projects of EVs, but you're not thinking that you're basically powering your EV with an ICE, with a fossil fuel plant. So when you have an ICE car, you basically convert the fuel locally inside your car. When everybody has EVs and they drive these Rivians and Teslas and they think their fart doesn't smell and they're so amazing people and they're so fashionable and up to date, what they're actually doing is they're just outsourcing their power generation from fossil fuels, exactly like I am in my ICE car. They're just outsourcing that to the power plant that's doing exactly the same shit. It burns the fuel, it burns the fossil fuels, creates electricity, and then it just gives you the electricity. Where is environmentalism in that? And I'm not even talking about how EVs are made. The rare materials and the extraction of that is outside of the realm of this topic. But what I'm trying to say is if you're taking your EV, it's 80% energy comes from exact fossil plant as inside your ICE cars. It's a fucking exactly the same thing. But then you also have to go and you have to charge it for fucking 5 years to drive to 7-Eleven to buy wine so you can drink yourself to death. So if normal cars are 12 to 30% efficient, with that conversion from fossil fuel plants that makes 80% most of EVs electricity, at the end, EVs are just 30% efficient, just like the most efficient ICE cars. And we're gonna lose 5 to 10% electricity transition lost. When you make energy inside your car in a regular combustion car, you just transfer it straight into movement. Not efficient, but you're just doing that. When you're doing the same fucking thing in a power plant and you're making electricity and you're giving your EV that electricity, you also have 5 to 10% loss. So according to this calculation, which is correct, EVs are like 25% energy efficient. Because the source of the energy is the same fucking fossil that goes into your normal car. And how dumb do you have to be that you're going to save the planet by tackling? Yeah, let's just switch all the cars from combustion to ICE, and the planet is going to be saved. There's going to be green planet, and the fucking owls and bisons and armadillos are going to go back and live in our cities. And the trees are going to grow back, and we're going to go in a merry joyride on a fucking Ferris wheel. And we're going to take a kayak and we're going to we're going to go along the stream of river, happy and yappy. Because now all of our cars are electric. Even though I've just explained to you how electric cars are exactly as efficient as the most efficient combustion cars. And even if that's going to happen, even if the electric cars were just pure joy, like they did not require energy, it just goes for no reason. Even if that was the case, if you will take all of the cars from the street of United States and Europe, that's going to take away 10% of its emissions, and that 10% of its emissions, 35 of the world emission, is just 35 from the fucking world emission. So you want to take 3.5% of world emissions by eliminating all of the cars from United States and Europe. How does that make fucking sense? How are you going to save the planet by reducing the emissions by 3% in the world? If EV cars were pure, but they're not pure, and if I just explained to you, they are 30% energy efficient, just like ICE cars.